Hello, Raleigh. This is Robert Court, citizen reporter, coming to you from the Your Backyard Raleigh News Network. And I am tickled to death to have a very special interview. Today, I'm with Mark Weldon, who's with the city of Raleigh, and Mark is the Small Business Development Manager. Mark, thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you, Robert. It's a pleasure to be here, and hopefully this will be a good way to convey some information for your audience today.
Well, Mark, full disclosure, I've known you for years. You have been a good friend to small businesses in your volunteer work and now in your city job. And if I may say, what you've built for the city of Raleigh and our small business community is just amazing. And I'm very fortunate to be able to share it with my audience today.
Oh, shucks. I appreciate the compliment. It's been a lot of hard work, and it's not just been me. I've got a wonderful team that makes all this magic happen. And I have to thank the city leadership for creating this team and this focus on small businesses for the city of Raleigh. A lot of people have made this possible. I'm just happy to be here today to talk about it.
Well, give us the elevator speech. What is the purpose of your department? And real quick, what is it y'all do in a nutshell?
Great question. So we're basically economic development for small businesses. The city of Raleigh, the way we approach economic development for the city, which ends up at the top of a lot of really good lists, by the way, is very intentional. The large economic development, bringing Fortune 500 businesses to Raleigh, that's all handled by the Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the city manager's office with the city of Raleigh. That allows us to focus 100% of our effort on small businesses and entrepreneurs. In my team, we also work with some other departments in the city. MWBE, contracting firms has an organization, and the Office of Strategy and Innovation does a lot in the ecosystem, which we can talk about all that later. But we focus on mainly the mom and pop, Main Street. Think about the storefronts that we all know and love. The reasons the places that make Raleigh special. Right. The reasons why big companies come here, frankly, is the small businesses that they know they can attract a workforce to be excited about. Those businesses and entrepreneurs who may still be, trying stuff out at their kitchen table, those are the folks that we come to work to serve every day.
Well, as I've said 1,000 times, and I'll say it another 1,000 happily, it's the small businesses that give Raleigh its unique charm and character. We also bring a very strong economic impact because we circulate local dollars locally. And I could go on, but I'm here to talk about you. And I see what you do is kind of a three-pronged approach. That's my words, not yours. But let's start with some of the resources your department provides for small businesses.
Great, thank you. The resources are front and center to what we do. So the city of Raleigh, depending on what data set you're looking at, has, we'll just call it tens of thousands of small businesses in one shape or another. There's no way that our team, there's four of us. Right. We're not a vast army, but even if you take all the city folks that are dealing with small businesses, some of those other departments I was talking about, you might have a dozen, maybe a couple more. All the partner organizations we deal with, that's still a lot of businesses to cover, and there's no way that we can do, I guess we'll just call, use a basketball analogy. You can't use man-to-man coverage on that kind of landscape. You have to think strategically with resources that are self-serve, that are available 24/7. Every business owner has their own rhythm. So, somebody may not even be able to look at this stuff until 11 o'clock after they, feed their kids, put them to bed, and then have a minute to, catch up on stuff.
That's exactly
right.
So
a lot of these tools are online. We're still here to, we answer the phone and do things for people that aren't comfortable with technology, but the online tools are really powerful. First of all, they can be translated into 50 languages when you get to our site. Second of all, like I say, they're available all the time, and they're always current. So we are always updating our information, so small business owners have the latest, greatest, best practice information for starting a business or growing a business.
Well, let's start with one of my favorites, is the Business Resources Guide. I look at that frequently, but could you, again, in a nutshell, tell us what the Resources Guide is and how it functions?
Great question. So that was the one and only resource we had when we started the team. The first iteration, I think, was from 2017, 2018. It needed an update for a couple of years. We finally got a new version out. Gosh, I guess it's 2 years ago now. We have a new one coming. We are expecting to put a new version out mid-year 2025 and print a whole bunch of copies of those as well. It's basically an index of everything that we have on our website. It shows partners who we work with, partners who small businesses can work with. It shows information about some financial resources, about informational resources. All of this stuff is in one guide, a one-stop shop to get to it. What we've done over the past year is reverse engineer it, taking that paper pamphlet and get it all onto our website. So now it is translatable. Now you can use the search function to find particular topics. So all of the content that's in the Business Resource Guide is now also online in active HTML format. And then what we're doing next in the middle of this year is to put that all back into paper format, so we have something to hand out, because we have found that when we go to events, those things fly off the table every single time. It's a really popular resource.
What's also a very functional 10,000 foot view. So many things in there that if you're a first time business owner, new to it, or 10-year veteran, you couldn't possibly know everything in there and all the contacts. So it is an incredible resource, but that's just one of several you have. Would you tell us a little bit about the partner event calendar, which is one of my favorites too?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for asking about that one. That is one of our newest resources. We got that online last late summer, early fall. It has been a labor of love. It's a very resource like my team having to devote a lot of energy into keeping this current. This is a calendar that consolidates events going on all around the city of Raleigh from our partner organizations. So here's the landscape. Small business owners, first of all, rarely know that any of us even exist.
Right.
The government may not be the first place that a small business instinctively goes to for information. And then even if they know about us, a small business owner doesn't know about many of the partner organizations who we work with out there. Now let's take the leap of faith and say they know about them. Now they want to know about all of the events. Well, oh my goodness, that means they're going to have to go to probably 24 different websites that are all, different formats, buttons in different places, hard to find, stuff. So we thought, this is crazy. Let's bring all of this information into one, like a one-stop shop. You can still find all that on the various organization sites, but on the city website, we have a partner event calendar page where a business owner can see training events offered by 24 different organizations. They can find networking events if they want to just meet people that are running businesses like theirs and maybe learn some tricks of the trade. All of those are in one place now on our city website on our small business development website.
Well, being 30 years self-employed, generating, being unique because we're a smaller percentage of the population. One of my favorite things about this asset and resource is I can find peers. I can find people that are going through the same thing and have the same challenges that I do. So this is absolutely maybe my favorite, but it's a very good one. They're all good. And then I also am tickled to death that you diving in a little deeper and you've created a small business roadmap, which is a very clever idea. If you could expand upon that.
Yes. So this was in response to we showed up in a national survey of 20 cities, and they said some things that weren't very nice about the city of Raleigh's small business environment. We took a deeper dive and found out we were actually best in class in a number of categories, but there were some areas where we needed some attention. And one of the easiest ways to get to that was to help a small business owner see sort of end-to-end starting a business, not just from the city perspective, but there's a lot of different government entities that all have their fingers in the pie when you're starting a business. So the first one we did was for restaurants, and we did that very intentionally because that's one of the most complicated business models out there, because you're dealing with city building permits, things like grease traps and, hoods and stuff like that. You're going to have to deal with county health inspections. You're going to have to deal with the ABC board. You're going to have to deal with, all these different agencies are involved with a restaurant. And the premise was, if we could figure out how to document that from end to end, how to start a business, then everything else should be easy because it's just a subset. So the next one we did was for retail. The most current one we've done is actually on how to start a childcare business. The next couple coming down the pike are going to be, we're expecting in the spring, our next release will be salons, barbershops, which are, that's a form of business that's very accessible to a lot of entrepreneurs. That's a great starting point for folks. We'll have some on home-based businesses, B2B type businesses. So stay tuned for more. Each one of these, again, is online. You can search through it. They're very rich in content, and we're very excited to have them available.
Well, these are just three of many resources you have to directly assist the small business owner, but you're doing a lot more than that. You are also engaged in the larger community, right? You're not just creating resources for small businesses, but you work with a lot of the business alliances and other aspects of the larger community.
Absolutely. So at the beginning, I was talking about that scale of tens of thousands of business and then 4 of us here. I will say that we get so much traction working through our partners out there. So in the city of Raleigh, you've got probably about 12.5 business alliances scattered all around the city. Yeah. Many of them are geographical. So think Downtown Raleigh Alliance, Hillsborough Street, Blue Ridge, Midtown, North Raleigh, Chamber, places that you could draw dotted lines around their territory. There's other business alliances that are more about focus areas. So Shop Local Raleigh, they're going to be countywide. The Harmony LGBT Chamber is countywide. Actually, they're regional. There's the North Carolina Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce and others that they don't have a geography, but they do have business owners who share interests and resources that are useful for them. So we really count on those kind of partnerships to help get the word out and also to listen for what's going on in the business community, as well as the other flip side of that coin would be our entrepreneurial support organizations like SCORE and the Small Business Center out of Wake Tech, Small Business Technology Development Center out of NC State, Women's Business Center, and there's a couple more that we're doing some outreach with currently. So a lot of partners in the landscape. And one more point, and then I'll be quiet here on this one. You made a comment about the networking and getting to know people. I think that for your parts of your audience, if they're new to this area, one of the things that I think you're going to find is this is a very collaborative community. There's some places where it is cutthroat and stab your back, and knock on wood, Raleigh has always had more of an ethos of pay it forward, collaboration. These organizations all collaborate with each other every day. And when you're networking with businesses like yours, 9 times out of 10, you'll find someone who's willing to help with advice because they remember what it was like when they started out.
That is so correct. Is in one of our foremost advocacy that we came up with the term co-opetition. We're not competition. We cooperate for our greater good. So that's a fine point, and I appreciate you sharing it here. I said you had a 3-pronged approach because you have the resources, you connect the resources with the larger community, but you really bring it all together, in my opinion, in some of the events that your department puts together. Could you share those events with us today, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. Events is kind of the newest one to the table for us. We've always had to rely on supporting events that other organizations did because creating an event is hard. It
Yes.
it takes a lot of work. So the first step that we have taken over the past couple of years anyway in our existence is sponsoring partner events, annual meetings, vendor events, expos. We've done what we can to help support those events where small businesses can learn and develop and sell, maybe make some money. We do have a couple that are coming up in the near term here. We're partnering with Consult Your Community, which is a student-driven business consulting team out of North Carolina State University. There's an event at Tally Student Union right outside of there on March 27th. It's during the day. There'll be about 50 small businesses out there selling stuff and showing off their wares and services, as well as some support organizations will be there involved in that as well. The city has had a long-standing event called the Small Business Expo that's led by our MWBE team that serves primarily the businesses who want to contract and do business with the city or maybe other government entities. They just celebrated their 25th year event last year over at McKimmon Center. They're going to come back to McKimmon Center this year on June the 6th. It's a great event that has a lot of the resource partners there. We'll be there, of course, for that as well. And a brand new event that our very first one that we are producing here in our small business development team in partnership with some other city departments is called City Connect. So City Connect is a series that's led by our neighborhood enrichment team on all kinds of topics with the city. It's beyond just business and economic development, but they have the next one coming up is going to be focused on not only economic development, but small business economic development. It's called City Connect Legal Lift. This is, we're going to be starting the save the date announcements. So this is breaking news.
Breaking news right here.
We have not announced this in public yet. So today's the day. But on April 21st, which is the Monday directly next day after Easter, at the Raleigh Convention Center, we're going to be partnering with Smith Anderson Law Firm right here. They're also from right here in Raleigh, and they are going to help us provide a lot of expertise at that session to share best practices of legal concepts to the audience. I know that all the attorneys will want me to have the disclaimer that this is not a client attorney relationship, and they won't be giving out legal advice to anyone, but they will be sharing best practices. So topics include business formation. Do I want to be a sole proprietorship, an LLC, a corporation? If you don't know what any of those are, then yeah, you better go to that session. There'll be a module on HR. There'll be a module on intellectual property. It's going to be great information. It's all day. We have space for 200 small businesses to attend. Our service provider partners, some of them will be there as well. It should be a really cool event. And we are trying to make it fully featured. No cost, no registration cost to get in. You do have to register to make sure that we have the right count of people, because we are providing lunch as well. So we don't want to, come up short on the buffet table. But more to come. Stay tuned. We do have a newsletter that you can be alerted with the registration details. Our website will have information about the registration details, and we'll be pushing it out through a lot of city communication channels, so everyone will know how to attend if they can.
Well, what a wonderful idea. And in my experience, a lot of entrepreneurs start with a hope and a dream and a drive, but often hit barriers later on because they didn't have the right employee contract, or they went S Corp and they should have done one of the others. So having this available to not only startups, but those have been around a long time, the legal aspect is a very important approach. So what a great seminar or event for you guys to put together.
We are excited, and we hope you can make it, and all of your audience.
Well, I'll certainly be tooting my horn, but I also think, Mark, in closing, that this event really speaks to the fact that what your team is doing really is all that and a bag of chips. There's resources, there's larger connections, there are events to not only educate, but to help you meet your peers and learn along the way. And as a longtime advocate for small businesses, I am really impressed and grateful for everything that your department has put together here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert. And there's always more to come. The nature of small businesses, you never have it figured out. As soon as you have it all locked in place, the next set of questions comes. So we're always having to keep up with what's going on out there. But I will, recommend to your audience, check us out. We have a really terrible URL that you can't remember. So the easiest way to find us is just go to RaleighNC.gov. That's the general site for the city of Raleigh, RaleighNC.gov. There's going to be a little magnifying glass search bar, and just type in small business, and it'll take you right to all of our stuff. And you'll probably bump into us at some business expo if you are out there doing that kind of thing.
Raleigh, Mark and his team is supporting small businesses in so many ways. I highly encourage you, whether you're a small business or you're a small business want to be soon, check out the resources, because Mark Weldon, all this and more is in your backyard. Thanks again, Mark. I appreciate you spending time with us.
Thank you, Robert.